two scenarios. One is a guy who works hard for his family. The other is a guy who is dedicated to his family. The guy who is dedicated probably works hard. It's hard work having a family. If you're dedicated, you're willing to do what it takes, then you probably work hard, alright, in that situation. The guy who just works hard is not necessarily dedicated to his family. So the guy who works hard, maybe he works 60 hours a week, he's always at the office, he's putting in long hours, he's earning money, he's earning enough for his family to survive, maybe more than they need. The guy who is dedicated, given that he's dedicated, he's definitely doing enough to feed his family, to pay the bills, and to make sure they have a good future. But that doesn't necessarily mean just mindlessly working hard. So the guy who works hard for his family and is working 60 hours a week is probably sustaining himself on crap in order to maintain this lifestyle. Coffee, shitty food, doing whatever, smoking just to get through the day, drinking at the weekends just as a kind of easy default for relaxation, because it's difficult to relax after working such long hours. The guy who's dedicated is more likely looking after his health because he knows his family need him around, and it's important for him to be there. It's important for him to be healthy and to be functioning at a high level and to be happy, otherwise he's not going to be a great person to be around. The guy who works hard for his family quite likely is coming home very stressed. His kids are pissing him off, he doesn't want to talk to them, his wife is annoying him, he's been working all day, he just wants to shut everything out and sort of, you know, go and do something else or be quiet at home, you know, and not have to deal with all of that shit. His sons, if he has them, are probably not getting a great deal of like nourishment from him, you know, in that sense. Like, probably he's not talking to them a lot, he doesn't really have the time or energy to talk to them, to guide them in their lives, and he doesn't know about much other than just mindlessly working hard. The guy who's dedicated, on the other hand, knows that assuming the bills are paid and there's money in the bank and things are okay financially, it's not worth missing out on key developmental parts of his son's lives or his family's lives. It's not worth living his whole life in the office and then, you know, eventually dying and realizing he spent no time with his wife who he loves, he's not put enough effort into raising his kids, and he's not really looked after his family. So he does those things because he's dedicated to his family, right? So definitely, unless he's very lucky and has some form of passive income, then part of being dedicated to his family is working hard. But when you prioritize simply working hard over other things, you're turning hard work into kind of a blunt object. Like, it's not very precise. It's not a very useful way in most instances to think about it. I'm using the metaphor of using the family metaphor because it's an obvious example and it's a kind of clear way of explaining the dichotomy between these two things, and I also think it's quite a common problem. I think a lot of people will have grown up in environments like this and know what I'm talking about, and a lot of people can see that kind of modern capitalistic environments don't always lend themselves that well to family life, and a lot of people seem to, in the pursuit of mindless hard work and buying things, seem to have kind of lost sight of things that are really important. And I think, not that this is really relevant to the topic of the video, but I think men's roles in, I think women's as well in different ways, but men's roles in this respect have certainly been diminished over the years. I wouldn't say this is a hugely recent thing even. I don't know, because I don't go that far back, but I know that for as long as I can remember, it seemed like men were kind of most of their work seemed to be outside the house. That's the best way I can put it. I don't know, and I don't think that's right. I think both parents should be very actively involved with family life. But anyway, it's not the point of this video. That's just a metaphor to kind of explain the concept. Yeah. So when it comes to, for example, I mean, for me, this really applies to creative projects. I fell into the trap of, like, you know, work hard, grind, hustle. And like, I was always a very lazy person, but I then I became very insecure about this, and I felt like I have to start working harder. I have to, you know, all my heroes work 15 hours a day, and I have to do this and that, and fell into all this bullshit, when in reality, what I should have done back then was just done what I needed to do, and I wasn't doing that. I wasn't doing what I needed to do. I wasn't doing what I should do. I wasn't showing enough dedication, basically, nor was I working hard. And had I been dedicated, I would have been working hard. You know, I didn't need to jump straight past A and go to B. Let's fucking fly off my head. I didn't need to jump straight past A and go to B. Like, fuck off. Jesus. Yeah, for just £2 a month, you can. Yeah, I you know, I could have just kind of planted the roots of dedication to whatever I was doing in my mind, and that would have necessarily entailed some hard work along the way, but it also would have entailed keeping myself in a fit state, not burning myself out, not making my tasks become robotic and joyless, not overthinking things in a stressful manner that took me out of what I was doing and made me less effective, and made me less appreciative, and made what I was doing less enjoyable for other people. You know, it becomes mindless when you look at things in that way, when you think, oh, I have to do X amount of hours and do X amount of... It's not... I don't know. If you truly love something, and also you want to get really good at it, then yeah, most of the time that requires a lot of time and a lot of work, but it doesn't always. And I think knowing when to stop, when to just like breathe, when to actually think about what you're doing, and not just say to yourself, no, I put the work in, I deserve success, I've worked hard. Come here, Luna. I've worked hard. I work fucking 12 hours a day on this. I put 100 hours into this album. I did this, I did that. I deserve success because I've ticked this box. It's not right. It's not logical. You know, there are people who, come here, Luna. There are people with the right mindset who can accomplish amazing things in a tiny amount of time, and then there are people who, by focusing their efforts in the wrong way and not being smart or thoughtful or having presence of mind when they do things, can spend hours and hours and hours, come on Luna, chasing their own tail and accomplishing nothing. And that was what I did a lot of the time. This fly is really pissing me off, man. Yeah, you know, that was what I did a lot of the time. I was, oh, you fucking cunt, piss off. I was, you know, slaving away at things and not stopping to say like, right, is this the right thing for me to do at this moment? Like, what do I need to do today to take this project to the next level, whether that's in terms of quality or in terms of promotion or in terms of, you know, just achieving success? Like, what's the right thing to do right now? Because that's the most important thing, is to do the right thing. You know, if you spend 100 hours a week doing the wrong thing, you're going to get exactly nowhere except exhausted, and you'll probably become boring and unpleasant to be around. If you spend 10 hours a week doing exactly the right thing, maybe that's not enough, but you'll be achieving something. Mate, fuck off. You'll be achieving something, you know? You'll be achieving something of value, something meaningful. So lately, that's how I'm trying to approach things, is instead of waking up with this pit of anxiety in me and thinking, oh, you know, for example, like, oh, I got out of bed a bit late today, I need to catch up, I need to hurry, I need to rush, I need to do things, I need to feel like I'm doing something, I need to feel like I'm productive. Instead, take it easy, don't get stressed, don't feel anxious about like the number of hours I've put into something. Instead, I just think like, right, what could I do right now that would be really good? What could I do right now that would be really beneficial for me, for my life, or for this project I'm working on? What's the next most important step? And everything else becomes a bit irrelevant then, because you're just using your fuck off. There's 2 of them now. Sorry, I don't mean to keep interrupting the video. They're driving me crazy. I'm just going to ignore them now. So we're just going to accept, all right? When you see the flies on my head, just accept it, ignore it. We're all going to be mature about the flies. It's just part of life. Sometimes you have flies on your head, all right? Seriously though, for just £2 a month, yeah, you can help feed me. No, but yeah, it's everything else becomes irrelevant, and it becomes then about how focused and clear-headed are you, and how in touch are you with what you're actually doing. And if you let that guide you, it will generally, in my opinion, lead you down a much better path than just mindlessly working hard.